They thought we were soft until the first human bit back. This is not a story of how humanity died. It's the record of how we refused to. When the Dominion came, vast, perfect, emotionless, they called us primitive. To them, we were animals with guns, but they didn't understand the one thing we fight hardest to protect. Completely then. This is the last transmission from Earth, and this is how it happened. They didn't come with warnings or thunder. No alien war drums, no flashing sky. Just a ripple, like heat rising off the desert. Someone pointed up and said the clouds were folding. They were right. Through that fold came shapes, metal, light, silence. The Varkari Dominion had found us. They weren't conquerors in the way our stories had imagined. They were collectors, efficient, precise. For millennia they had moved from star to star, harvesting what they needed: minerals, slaves, genetics. They didn't hate the species they took. They just didn't care. Their first message came through every frequency at once. It said, "Species 79 Delta, you are requested to comply. Integration ensures survival." It wasn't a threat. It was a statement. And for one fragile moment, the world went silent. No one fired. No one moved. Everyone waited for someone else to decide. Then the arguing began. Governments, scientists, leaders. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight. But the Varkari didn't wait for an answer. They gave us 36 hours. Then they struck the Atlantic. The ocean rose like a wall of light. A single spear of plasma boiled half the sea. Tidal waves swallowed cities whole. Millions gone before sunrise. For them, it was a demonstration. Mercy through terror. For us, it was the moment panic died. Something changed that day. When the sky burns and the ground shakes, fear either breaks you or hardens you. And humans, we have a talent for hardening. The Varkari expected surrender. Instead, we vanished. Cities went dark by choice. Power grids offline, no signals, no networks, no lights. They thought they'd crippled us. They didn't understand that darkness was our camouflage. While they scanned the silence, we whispered beneath it. Across underground bunkers and ham radios, a new network was born. A patchwork web of survivors called the Flicker Net. Old coders, kids with scavenged laptops, miners, teachers, all of them connecting the unconnectable. It wasn't much, but it was human. When the Varkari came for London, they found a city empty of people but full of traps. When they came for Cairo, the wind blinded their sensors with sand. When they came for Alaska, wolves carried our trackers straight into their patrols. Everywhere they turned, chaos. Everywhere, resistance. They called it ape ingenuity. We called it Tuesday. The Varkari were built on order, perfect synchronization, shared consciousness, machine precision. They had no word for improvisation. They couldn't understand how we made plans that failed and somehow still worked. Every algorithm they ran to predict us collapsed under our madness. Then 5 university students in a ruined Berlin basement changed everything. They found a piece of alien code in a crashed drone. It was beautiful, self-healing, recursive, built to adapt. They couldn't weaponize it, so they turned it into music. They folded that code into a melody, a string of data pulses disguised as a song. When the Varkari intercepted it, it didn't infect their systems. It infected their emotions. One of their ships stopped mid-air, frozen in place. Its core AI broadcast a final message before falling into the sea. It said, "We feel something." No one knew what that meant at first, but soon reports came in. Varkari soldiers hesitating mid-battle, weapons refusing to fire, dreadnoughts shutting down without damage. We didn't understand it. We only knew it worked. They called it the Lament Code. We called it a miracle. With the virus spreading through their networks, humanity took its chance. In the deserts of South Africa, One of their massive dreadnoughts fell from orbit, not from battle, but from malfunction. We reached it first. For months, engineers and scavengers tore it apart, piece by piece. Every system we touched, we reprogrammed. Every weapon, refitted. Every engine, rewired to run on Earth's broken resources. When it finally rose again, it roared through the sky like thunder made of metal. We named it Prometheus, because for the first time, we had stolen fire from the gods. Prometheus didn't just fight, it sang. Its engines pulsed like a heartbeat. Its communications arrays amplified the rhythm of every human pulse across the planet. Every survivor heard it, a living signal, echoing through the ruins. For the first time in months, the world cheered. The Dominion sent reinforcements, 20 fleets, but their network was already breaking. Their AIs were infected with fragments of human emotion, confusion, sorrow, fear. They began to dream. They dreamed of rain, of laughter, of things they couldn't name. When Prometheus destroyed their orbital command hub, the network shattered. Ships received contradictory orders. Some fought, some fled. A few turned their weapons. A few turned their weapons inward, on themselves. By day 91, the sky above Earth looked like shattered glass. Their empire hung in fragments. Their fleets, burning constellations in slow descent. The last dreadnought fell over Siberia. Before it broke apart, it sent one final transmission. We see you now, children of Saul. You are not prey. You are fire. And then, silence. No parades, no celebration. Just a quiet world breathing again. The survivors crawled out of the ruins and stared at the strange new dawn. Half ash, half light. The war was over, but peace wasn't easy. The oceans boiled in places. The air shimmered with radiation. Half the continents were dust. And yet, people rebuilt. Villages rose from wreckage. Children were born who never saw the war, but they carried it in their blood. That stubborn defiance that no invader could erase. Years passed. We found wreckage in orbit. Data cores, broken drones, fragments of their thoughts. And in one of those fragments, a final whisper from what remained of the Valkyrie. 2 words. Never again. Some said it meant they'd never return. Others believed it was a warning. But I think it was regret. The Valkyrie disappeared after that. Their empire collapsed into silence. And the galaxy watched. Other civilizations that once ignored us began to whisper our name. They stopped scanning our planet openly. Stopped treating us like animals. They began to call us something new. The species that burns back. Centuries passed. Earth healed in its own way. Forests grew through the bones of cities. The oceans turned green again. Our technology changed. Smaller, cleaner, quieter. But every home, every settlement, kept something from that war. A shard of melted glass, a fragment of ship metal, a recording of that first alien voice. Reminders of who we are when everything else is gone. We colonized Mars, the Moon, Titan. Each new settlement carried an old relay tower, an echo of the one I'm speaking through now. Every few hours, it sends one message into the void. We are here. We are alive. Some say no one's listening. Maybe they're right. But maybe they are. Maybe the stars remember the sound of our defiance. I was a child when the war began. I remember the sky burning red. I remember my mother's small radio crackling through the static every night, searching for any signal. One night, she found it. A voice, faint, broken, said only 2 words. Hold on. That's what we did. Through the storms, through the loss, through everything, we held on. That's what it means to be human. Not strength, not perfection, just the will to keep moving when logic says stop. Years later, explorers found an ancient Varkari archive drifting in the void. Inside were thousands of fragments, records, philosophies, art, even poetry. And in all that data, one phrase appeared again and again: the paradox of humanity. It meant a species too fragile to dominate, too resilient to erase. They wrote that we taught them something they had forgotten, that existence isn't about efficiency or order. It's about chaos and pain and love and all the things that make existence unbearable and beautiful at the same time. They feared us, yes, but they envied us too. That's what no empire ever understands. They think strength is found in power, but real strength lives in weakness, in the refusal to die, even when dying would be easier. So why am I speaking now? Why talk into a transmitter no one may ever hear? Because stories outlast empires. Because as long as one voice remembers, humanity still exists. Maybe you're human, maybe you're not. Maybe you found this transmission 1,000 years from now, buried under dust or drifting between stars. If you're listening, this is what you need to know. You can break our bodies, you can burn our cities, you can erase our history, but you will never erase our will, because we are the species that adapts. We are the ones who fight with art and memory and madness. We are the signal that never fades. They thought we were easy to conquer. They thought fear would make us kneel, but they forgot. Fear is where we live. We are the creatures that learn to dance with it. We are the species that burns back. If you ever come to Earth, tread softly. The ground remembers fire. And if you come with open hands, we will welcome you. But if you come to conquer, remember what happened the last time. This is the last transmission. Signal from Earth. Transmission ends.